Welcome to the Savvy Spirit Podcast. I'm Sharon Moore, your host and creator of the Savvy Spirit Entrepreneur Program. This podcast features conscious women entrepreneurs whose businesses are built on their unique gifts and are making the world a better place. You're going to learn about their journeys, their courage, their resilience, and their truth. So enjoy the show, feel the love, and get inspired. All right, everybody, welcome back. So today we are spending time with Amira Alvarez, the straight-talking, clear-thinking, compassionate, get-shit-done business coach. Amira is all about quantum leaps in your business, in your income, and in your ease. And how does she do this? She starts with the mindsets. Her personal experience with shifting her own mindsets has allowed her creative license, freedom, money, ease, great relationships, and a business that she loves every day. Oh, and as an added bonus, she tripled her income in 1 year. So I think it's safe to say that we all want to know more. Amira Alvarez, the Quantum Leap Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. So good to be here.
So can we start with something that, might be obvious, but I'm super curious. What do you mean by quantum leap?
Yeah, it's a really, really good question. So quantum leaping to me means making a big, huge growth leap in your business, because I'm applying this to business. It could be to your life as well, though. But here, let's talk about your business.
Yeah.
To your business that goes beyond your wildest dreams of what you think is kind of like legitimate or possible. So most people make incremental growth in their business. They do a little bit better each month. They do a little bit better each year, right? Of course, there's ups and downs, but, they're making incremental growth or they're plateauing, okay? But they're not tripling their income. They're not making their annual income their monthly income, which when I first heard that that was possible, blew my mind. I was like, really? I can make my six-figure income my monthly income? And I can really do that?
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm having that same moment. Really?
Yeah, exactly. And when I heard that, I was like, shit, really? and then I was like, I want that. It was like this instant, like boom, boom, boom. And I didn't know how that was going to happen or what that looked like or anything, but I plugged into that desire that was, exactly what I wanted. That seemed fun. That seemed great. That seemed like, hell yeah. And I've done that. And that's what I teach people to do. And there's stuff that has to happen. Big stuff, big shifts. It's not like wave your magic wand kind of stuff. But
and yeah. That's an interesting point, because in my body, I'm hearing this and I'm noticing in my body, I was like, wait a minute. Does this mean my life is horrendous and I'm working all day long and I'm in front of the computer or just kind of stressed out the whole time?
No, see, well, great question, because that's exactly where people go to, because they think they have to do more of the same. And more of the same just is overwhelm, usually, okay? That means just working harder. And there's a capacity that you have for how much, even if you're ambitious, even if you've got a huge amount of drive and will and like gumption, right? Go-get-itness. There is I just made up that word.
I like it. I understood exactly what you meant.
Yeah. Right. Like you're going to go do it. There's a limit on your time, right? There's a limit on your energy. There's a capacity cap. And so you can't just do more of the same. Okay. The analogy that I like to use, and I got this from Price Pritchard. He wrote a great book called U Squared, little gem of a book. Highly recommend it to everyone. And he talks about that image that we've all seen of the fly trying to fly out the closed window, right? And it's working really hard, okay? And it's like buzzing, and that fly is going to die working that hard.
Yeah.
But if they turned around and flew out the door on the other side of the room, they would get to freedom, okay? But they're not seeing that as an option. But that option is there.
Amira Alvarez, I'm getting like goosebumps. I want it. I want to fly out the door.
I know. And you can, but you have to not be the fly. Okay. I know that sounds like, but that's it. You can't be the fly. You can't keep doing the same thing you've always done. And yet, this is how we were all raised. Okay. We were brought up and shown you work like this, you apply yourself like this, you think like this. These are the paradigms and beliefs that drive us. And then you keep hitting the window, right? And there are some women who can work really hard and they can make significant income, but they're burnt out, they're tired, they get grouchy, they don't have good sex, like their health goes to hell in a handbasket, all of that, right? I have a really awesome freaking life. And I don't say that in a like thumb my nose at it. I used to be someone who was ambitious, driven, all of that stuff, pretty positive and optimistic outlook, all, not a whiner or complainer or anything like that. But I was working really hard and making okay money. Okay. But, and kind of being burnt out a little bit and not really having that kind of delightful feeling. I love my business every single day, even when it's hard. I love my business. Even when there are mistakes that happen, challenges, I love it. And that is the mindset shift that happened for me. I'm a little bit off on a tangent here, but I just want to say that there's a mindset shift, a paradigm shift, a belief shift that happens where you become unstoppable in your business and you love it more than ever before. And it makes you so much more money.
And so is this actually what you do with your clients? Is it mindset only, or is that the kind of the foundational piece and then you move on to other things?
Yeah, that's the foundational piece. I would say that most of my clients are really freaking brilliant. Mm-hmm. Okay. They know, they have great chops. They know. Okay. But they're scared, or they're not taking action, or they're in fear or resistance, or something is blocking them. Okay. And it might look like a tactical strategic issue on the surface, like, my clientele isn't buying what I'm selling anymore. The sales have slowed down. What do I do? Like, that's the outside, problem or challenge that they're facing. Mm-hmm. But on the inside, they're not willing to do what it takes, which is, revamp how they're doing a sales presentation, or revamp how they're packaging their services, right? Because they have a self-worth issue about how much they can charge or what people will buy or something like that. And we dig in on the beliefs and the paradigms, right? Mm-hmm. When those shifts, then they can take the outer game actions lickety split.
Got it.
And it's amazing. I'm always like, I have not become numb to this at all. There's a word that I'm missing, but I have not become like blind to the magic of this, the beauty of it. Like, when I see that happen for my clients, it still, I'm like so freaking thrilled for them, because then it's like they're like on fire. They're just going, and they're working less. Okay. They're going from the 16-hour day to the 4-hour day. Right. And
so is it appropriate to ask you how does this happen?
Well, the how is part of the magic, right? That's part of the coaching, of course, and yeah. It's more than what can be covered in like a call like this. But fundamentally, I think the how is deep listening and understanding where people are blocked. And I have a keen sense of that. Part of that is nurture, part of that's nature, right? Like, part of that is just sort of like, that's my genius and what I was put on the earth to do, kind of thing. Yeah. And then part of it is through experience and a lot of work and seeing what works and what doesn't, to really hone in on where people are blocked. Okay. And then helping them really unblock, see that for themselves, unblock it, and hold them to a higher level. Yeah. I also use in terms of how, I'll just be straightforward, get into some of the nitty gritty here. So I do a lot of belief change work, deep, transformational work with my clients. Okay. I use the intellect as well to help them change their belief system. And what I mean by that is I teach them the fundamental laws of how the universe works on a very intellectual level. Okay. Because the women who are attracted to working with me, they are smarty pants, and they want to like dig in on that stuff, and they're like, there's a methodology to this, there's a system to this, teach it to me, right? And that's how they absorb the world. Okay,
got it.
And so I teach. I'm very much a teacher, not just a coach. So I teach them these fundamental principles that they can then use in their life and their business to change how they're showing up. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how did you get here? How did this happen?
Oh, like what was my path?
Yeah. Like what's your journey? Have you always been a coach? Have you always been a teacher? Have you always worked with women? Have you always been an entrepreneur?
So I've not always been a coach. I've not always worked with women. I have probably always been an entrepreneur, but I didn't know it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I had a corporate job years ago. And so I have a lot of experience about what it's like working in corporations. I was also a consultant, so I have a lot of experience doing consulting work to corporations. I was a project manager, so I have that sort of organizational framework in my mind. And then I sort of the left field thing from sort of my backstory is that I dropped all of that and went into sort of the mind-body world, and for about, let's say, a little under a decade, sort of 8 years. And that really informed my intuitive skills and my sense of being in my body rather than just my head, and being able to really listen and key into what's going on for other people. And then in terms of being a coach, I evolved that naturally out of that mind-body business. And it initially, to be honest, was life coaching for my clients. You know, we went from a different format to life coaching. And then I realized that all the women who were really being attracted to work with me were in business. And I love running businesses, and I am naturally gifted at it. And so that was a really good fit. So then I started focusing on that. And then I started having my breakthroughs and really learning what it took to do these quantum leaps. And I've been a student of that and really dived in deeply. And that's then, comes out in my coaching, and what I do and what I teach.
Well, let me tell you something. I can feel your passion all the way over here.
Thank you.
I mean, you are alive. Wow. Okay, so I want to switch gears to the things that I ask every guest that I have on the show. And I touch upon 3 things that I believe are key to a fulfilling life as an entrepreneur, both from my own experience and what I teach in my program. And the first thing is, not what are your unique gifts, but how did you get the courage to bring that out into the world?
That's such a good question. You know what? I will say, okay, the truth of this is I committed to something big. I made a huge financial commitment, and I did it. I'll be fully transparent. I decided to work with a mentor, and it was jaw-droppingly expensive, like large mortgage on a house kind of thing.
Jeez.
It was
a San Francisco mortgage?
Yeah, it was a lot. It is a lot. It was a mind-blowing
amount
of money.
I like it.
Okay. And I did it unilaterally without, I'm in partnership with my husband. And up until that point, any large purchase was a joint decision. And I knew he wasn't going to be on board with it. And I did it anyways. And I was terrified, and it almost ended our marriage. But you know what? And I'm not suggesting that this is the way forward for everyone, but I'm telling you how it worked for me. I got leverage on my fears.
Wow.
And I knew that if I was going to make good on the investment that I made and not lose the man I loved by, breaking that trust there, I needed to quantum leap my business, and I needed to do it quickly, which is why I signed up for this in the first place. And so I did the work.
Interesting. So you realized you needed to quantum leap your business, but between the realization and doing it is where the courage is.
Absolutely. And I would have not taken all the steps that I needed to take if I hadn't, I'm being really super honest here. If I hadn't had the fear of losing my marriage and losing the financial investment that I had made.
Interesting. And do you feel like that, what was involved in that? Like, was it you showing up? Here you are being really transparent, which I so appreciate. Was that part of the recipe of you doing this? Like how, I get that the fear leveraged it. And then what did it leverage you into?
It leveraged me into taking bigger steps in my business, right?
Wow.
Owning my value, owning my worth, speaking with a different language, going after different clients. Is this the kind of thing you're looking for, these kinds of examples?
Yeah. I mean, I want to know internally, what was it that gave you the courage? It sounds like you knew what your gifts were, and it was more about, okay, how do I go and bring this out to the world? And what I'm hearing is, it was quite honestly fear that drove me into that.
Yeah, it's both fear and desire. So here's the thing. I wouldn't have engaged in this investment, this mentorship, and done that if I didn't have a strong desire to bring my gifts into the world.
Right.
That was what was pulling me forward. But in order to do that in a big way, I needed to get over my not taking actions.
Yeah.
Okay. And in order to get over that, because some of these things they go against our paradigms.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah.
And in order to do that, it needed to be worse not to, okay? To be honest. And so desire was there and negative consequence was there, both.
Little dance between the two.
Absolutely. But I chose to put myself in that position because my desire was so strong.
Right. And so here you are, you have a desire that is so strong to bring your gifts to the world. And, my personal philosophy, and here we transition into the second pillar, is that when you are bringing your unique gifts to the world, the universe supports it. The universe wants that to happen. It's your destiny. Absolutely. Are there times where you feel like that has happened, where you went ahead and did something, it went into the unknown, or went and did something scary, and you just so felt the support of the universe?
Yeah, almost every day. Oh my God.
Can you give us an example?
Yeah, like the first time I did a live event, okay? I had never done a live teaching event, like a retreat or anything. And I had the desire to do it. So I did it, right? And I hired an event coordinator and spent the money on that. I booked rooms at a hotel, fancy resort, and in advance of seeing anyone sign up for what I was offering. Okay. Right. Like having zero track record with that.
Right.
But I was so clear that I wanted to be doing this. And I worked my butt off, right? I made sales calls. I, did marketing, I held the energy, I held the belief, all of that stuff. It's not just, decide and then let the universe take over. It's decide, let the universe support you while you do
and make shit happen.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to make it harder on yourself. You can let the universe support you by really listening to spirit, but you do have to take action, right? You have to sign that contract. You have to hire the team, the support. You have to figure out what you're presenting. And, the first time I did a retreat like that was also the first time I made my annual income my monthly income, right? And
wow.
that's a great example. Did I know how to teach from the stage? No, not at all. Never done it, right? Never done it. But when I was up there teaching, I could feel spirit running through me, the universe supporting. So that happens all the time. Yeah.
That is incredible. I love that. You went ahead and signed contracts for the usage of this hotel room and the space and the AV and all the details that go into an event. Meanwhile, nobody's actually signed up yet. It was just you believing, knowing that this would happen. And then you went and did what it took to make it happen.
Correct. And right there, great synopsis. That is one of the keys to the universe. You have to take action in faith. Okay? Yeah. You have to know so completely and have such belief that of course it's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's how you don't get in your head about the noise. You keep the noise out by being like, I'm doing this. Now, was there a time during the period where I was like, oh my God, I need to get, butts in seats, right? Like really transparent there. Yes, absolutely. But see, it's the same pattern, right? As what I said earlier about, signing the contract for mentorship at that high level. Like I knew I wanted what that person was teaching, and I knew it was going to quantum leap my business. I wanted it, and I took action in faith. I signed that coaching agreement, not knowing how the frick I was going to make that happen. Okay. But that's going, my act there was like an act of unconscious competence, right? Like I knew intuitively that's how the universe works. Now I know that consciously. Yeah. You have to act differently. You have to take action in advance of having the results in order to get the results you want.
And so how do you, this is the third thing I love to showcase. So here we are, you're doing your unique gift in the world. The universe has your back. How have you navigated just the straight up business skills, marketing, PR, database management, accounting, etc.?
Yeah, really great question. So I am going to say that my upcoming retreat is on team systems and packaging your services, okay? Mm-hmm. Because the real sort of nuts and bolts of this stuff. And I love teaching that also, the nuts and bolts. But the fundamental answer to that is this kind of paradigm shift, like taking action. Let's just keep with that one. Taking action in faith, knowing that you are going to get the results you want. So let's take marketing. You have to take action on your marketing, not knowing if it's going to work, right? And you'll make a lot of mistakes, right? But you have to do that in order to get to the next level, okay? Same thing with systems. You have to start someplace. You have to just take the next step that's right in front of you. Yeah. And quite frankly, being fearless about hiring support, hiring team is really critical in this. You do not have to DIY everything yourself. And this is one of the biggest mistakes women in business do. We think that we have to do everything ourselves, especially if we have a mindset that like, no one can do it as good as I can. Right. How many, I can
raise your hands if you, yeah, exactly.
Okay. And you have to, it's like, stop that noise, hire people.
Right.
Okay. Right. And take the leadership position of, here's the mindset that's behind that gets gets us in trouble. We think we can do everything ourselves because we won't take personal responsibility for communicating exactly what we need in a way that's clear, because we're afraid of offending someone, coming off bitchy, having to spend more time training people up, all sorts of things like that.
The conundrum of being a woman.
Right. And instead, own that. Own that, and then take the responsibility to shift that inside of yourself and take different actions, right? Which does mean training up your team, taking a leadership role, figuring out your systems, all of that stuff. But you have to do that in order to scale.
Absolutely.
You can't do everything yourself. Yeah.
And so how do people work with you? How do they find out about you? You mentioned a seminar. Do you do just seminars? Do you do online stuff? How do people work with you?
Yeah, there's a number of different ways. I do live retreats, and I love doing live retreats because I do a lot of Q&A with people. It's very hands-on. It's not me speaking to a large crowd. It's me interacting with you, and it's a ton of paradigm shifting. Okay, people get a ton out of those. So I do those regularly, several times a year. Mm-hmm. And then I also work with clients one-on-one in private coaching. I do VIP days with people. I have a group coaching program. That's a great place for people to enter my world. The focus of that program is really on getting rid of the overwhelm, learning how to focus, getting out of the scatter, picking some key goals for yourself and really executing on them. And then my latest program that I've got that's launching in the next couple of months is called Leverage. And that's all about how to use team systems and repackaging your work for leverage, basically.
And this is good for people who do both businesses that are face-to-face and online, or do you work with one or the other?
Face-to-face, online products and services.
Okay.
All of the above. Yeah.
And what's your website, by the way?
My website is amiraalvarez.com.
Okay.
Shall I spell that? Do you think
I think you should. Yeah, I would.
Okay. So that's A, M as in Mary, I, R as in Rebecca, A, so a second A there, A, L, V as in Victor, A, R as in Rebecca, E, Z as in zebra. So it's my name, amiraalvarez.com.
And I'll put the live link on the episode notes. So if you're listening to it right now, you can just kind of scroll up, and right below you'll see episode notes with a live link.
Fantastic. Thanks, Sharon.
And I feel like I feel like you were going to say something. Was it the website that you were going to say?
I paused after I said the website because I thought I should spell it, and I was in a little bit of a
internal dialogue.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So I do need to bring the interview to the close, but I love to offer up just the open mic to give words of wisdom or words of encouragement to any of our listeners. Is there anything that you feel compelled to say? And again, these are often women entrepreneurs. Maybe they're ones who have not yet started but have an idea, or people who are just starting, or people who have been doing this for 15 years and realigning. Is there anything that calls to you that you would like to share?
Yes. Belief. Believe in yourself. Believe in your dreams. Believe in your desire. Don't negate that calling that you have inside to take the next step and the next step and the next step. Because although we're talking about quantum leaps here, and you can make big changes very quickly, it's like running the staircase. Like, you just have to take the next step that's right in front of you. Don't resist that. Stay clear, stay in your belief, and keep going.
Beautiful. Amira Alvarez, the straight talking, get shit done. Quantum. I mean, seriously, what I'm hearing is there was a moment where you made your annual salary in a month, and this is something you teach women entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
And it happens.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for being on the show, Amira.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, Sharon. It's been a blast.
Of course. And I always end with a reflection, which is I just feel so honored to bring this caliber of woman and showcase and shine a light on the magic of the work that they are doing in the world, like Amira Alvarez. And I know it goes from your ears into your hearts and then into action and then ultimately making the world a better place. And I cannot think of a better way to use my unique set of gifts. So with that and with gratitude, I am signing off, and we will see you next week. Thanks everyone for listening. I hope you feel inspired and connected and alive. And hey, if you enjoyed the show today, leave us a review. And if you want more, you can also find us online at thesavvyspirit.com or on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Okay, my friends, it is time to say goodbye. I wish you a good night, a good morning, a good day, wherever you are on this earth. I wish you well, and I'll see you next week.